Hello, all my merry makers. I am Becca, and welcome to Let's Talk Tuesday. This is a new segment that I am thinking about starting. It's either going to be a sit and knit or a crochet and chat. Usually a small project because that's what's easily I can fit up in my room. And that way it's something I don't have to think about while I'm chatting. For those of you new to my channel, yes, I do both crochet and knit. This is a little sock that I've been working on for my daughter. I'm not really following a particular pattern. I figure out how many stitches around I need to fit her foot, and then cast on a quarter of that and then increase until I have that amount. And then anyway, I have a whole video tutorial on how to make socks on my channel. If I can find it, I will link it. And then this particular yarn is from Hobbii, not sponsored or affiliated. It is their Halloween sock yarn. I believe this is called Vampire's Kiss. Except for this little part, which is some just random stash yarn that I had that I felt went really well with this. Alright. I'm going to talk about this for one more second. Looks like I have done all the way up to and just a little bit past the heel. So, yay. I am just going to be knitting for a while. So the day that this goes up, which is for me tomorrow, is the first day of school for my kiddos. For anybody new or who hasn't been here for a while, I have two children. Both are autistic. My son also has been diagnosed with ADHD. My daughter is too young to be diagnosed with ADHD, but I'm pretty certain she has ADHD, just based on I know what ADHD looks like now, not only in boys, but in girls as well. She's got a lot of impulse problems and has a lot of hard time staying on task, likes to move a lot, things like that. And if she's bored, she ain't gonna be interested. So this summer has been a long one for me because I did not realize or forgot how much work it is to take care of two special needs children full time, basically by myself during the day because my husband works. Now we did come up with a system where that he would watch the children while I grocery shopped, and then very most recently we decided that I needed a day off from the children at least twice a month, and I'm actually going to continue doing that into the school year just because it's good to take a day off from being mom every once in a while. Now you can never fully take off being mom, but as much as you can within reason. But so my older child is going to be in 5th grade, which to me is a big deal because that means this is his last year of elementary school. And for me, that puts him out of the young child range and into the young man range. And really excited to see where we're going to be going in the next couple of years with him. And then my young daughter is going to be starting kindergarten. And she's already been saying that she doesn't want to go to school. And she can be very opinionated sometimes, aka stubborn. And even though she is a little girl, sometimes she fights back. And she can be a bit of a handful when she does. So, and our plan is to walk to school, because we only live about a quarter mile one way from the school. And it actually helps both my children. It helps my son regulate so that he can get his mind prepared for the day. And, instead of driving, which only takes 5 minutes, walking takes 15 minutes. And that helps my younger daughter with the transition of going from school to for being at home to going to school. And we have a little wagon that I invested in that she can ride in, but we're going to try to help encourage her to walk once this becomes a normal thing. But I'm anticipating having to take turns with basically carrying her to school. Although if she puts up a really big fight, we might just drive to school to make it easier on both myself and my husband. The good news is the first 2 days of school for her are half days, and it helps get her used to the idea of this is a regular thing, So I'm hoping that by the end of the week she won't be fighting as much. Hopefully not at all. We'll see. Like I said, I'm kind of looking forward to it, but I'm also kind of anticipating being kind of put through the ringer tomorrow as mom. So, speaking of my next day off from being mom, that is going to be next week for me. I don't have any plans as of yet other than not being in the house. I have found that I do best about not being mom and not doing anything in the house if I'm not in the house. I've been enjoying going to the library, which is actually not that far from my house. It has a good, halfway decent internet connection and some pretty comfy chairs. So I can sit, knit, or crochet if I want for a couple hours there. Usually a couple hours is usually all I do because, I can't, as much as I would, part of my brain's like, yeah, I can sit and knit or sit and crochet for hours on end. I really can't. Because, get bored. Feel like the seasons are changing, even though it's been pretty hot here lately. Today the high was like low 90s. Tomorrow's supposed to be like just as hot, but like I've been sneezing a little bit more, and so has my husband. So I know that even though it's still hot, it's the seasons are changing ever so slightly. So I've started giving my daughter her allergy medicine. I know she's been affected too because she's been digging at her nose again. She has a big problem with that still. Trying to break her of it. Mostly because I don't want her to get a sinus infection, because that would just be miserable for both of us. In case you are wondering about how I am knitting this sock, and you're seeing all these needles and you're going, what the heck is going on there? I am doing a technique called using 2 circulars at a time. I find it very useful for smaller projects knit in the round, such as socks, gloves, and hats. And I'm trying to get to the end of this row so I can show you what I am talking about. I'm hoping I can repaint my nails at some point. So there we go. All right, so we've got 2 circulars. Now, because I'm knitting socks, the cable that is got the circulars is kind of short. And it might be a little hard to see on film, but the 2 pairs, even though they're the same size, they are different, so I can knit from the same set. So these are square needles, and these are round needles. So I will now go to the front of the sock, which I believe is my round needle. And yeah, sometimes the yarn and the needles do get tangled. Excuse me. But so see how this is a round needle that's got the stitches? I'm going to knit with the other side of that needle. It's almost the same as knitting with double points, but I feel like it's a little bit easier, one, because your needles are connected, and therefore you're less likely to lose them or drop one, because you've got the other half in your hand. And because there's a cable here instead of a pointy end, it doesn't dig into my hands. So it's more comfortable on my hands to do it this way. For me, I am a big proponent of doing what works for you. What works for me may not work for you, because we are 2 different people, and even though we might like some of the same things, we are not the same. That's just an inherent truth. But basically, how often would you like to see this segment, guys? I'm thinking about once a month, just to, unless there's some bigger stuff going on. At the beginning of the month, just sit down, talk about what's going on. No politics. That's just something that that has been I don't discuss politics, because that's can be a very hot topic. And if you want to ask me about my personal beliefs. That is a private conversation that we can have on the emails. But other than that, yeah, I'm gonna try to keep this to just, hey, this is what's going on, this is how I feel about it, all while I knit something, so that, you know, maybe, just maybe, you know, you can either pick up my technique, or you can, you know, I know when I have a video like this, it's nice to kind of almost body double, because even though I have not been diagnosed with ADHD, pretty sure I have it as well. You know, in 80% of children where they can trace it, they've traced it to somebody who, you know, is in their family. So, you know, I've got a lot of the symptoms: executive function disorder, mixing up my hands, mixing up my words, not being able to concentrate on one thing at a time, not just knitting and crochet projects, but, you know, other things as well. I have problems with remembering how to eat properly, remembering how to drink properly, remembering how to walk properly. And these are all things that are linked with having ADHD. So, I've determined that I'm not going to take any medication for it, because I've learned how to deal with it. It's just knowing that I have it kind of helps me explain a lot of things, like why I like to put shoes and socks on first thing in the morning, and why sometimes it's hard for me to decide on what thing I want to do first thing in the morning when, you know, I don't have it already planned out. It's like I told my friend, when it comes to timers, my brain literally has 2 settings, technically 3. There's, I look at the timer 10 seconds before it goes off. There's, oh, I set a timer. And then there's the hyper focus when I check the timer every 5 seconds and go, is the timer gone off? So usually it's 1 or 2, unless I'm not enjoying myself. And then it's 3. So there you go, just a little bit of what's going on in my life. Just in case you didn't catch my all the things last Thursday, I am trying to help my brother plan his wedding as much as I am being allowed to, which right now is not much, which kind of bugs me a little bit. But I think he and his fiance are going for simple and cute and not a whole lot of frills. So there might not be much for me to do, even as the best man. So it is what it is. And frankly, again, between, you know, trying to take care of the kids and school starting, maybe I don't need that extra on my plate anyway. So, that's, you know, unless some major doo-doo hits the fan, that's pretty much going to be happening around this time next month. And then, you know, there's some other stuff that's going on. I might be having surgery. I'm gonna be thinking and talking about that more as I get more information. I have a consult set up for next week, so we'll see. But now we're at 20 minutes. For me, it's 8:30 at night, so it's time to start getting ready to go to bed. I hope you all have a good day, evening, afternoon, whatever. If you liked this video, please consider liking it, especially if you're subscribed, so you can stay subscribed and YouTube doesn't randomly delete you from my subscribers. Yes, they're still doing that. It's very annoying, but I get it. Feel free to comment on this video. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. And if you really like my videos, please share them and help this channel grow. In the meantime, make what makes you merry. Ciao.